In pediatrics, most of the children that we see that have high blood pressure is related to a kidney disease, because that's what we call secondary hypertension. Adults, because of stress and paying bills and all the stress that they have just in living life, adults tend to get hypertensive with time because of stress.
Hello, this is Francisca again, your co-host of Pediatrics to Go, and today we're talking about hypertension in children. Now, is that even possible? We'll find out. Dr. Sanusi, let's start with you.
Francisca. Okay, we're keeping it simple.
Okay.
Hypertension in children is something that we see not too much of. And most children coming in, we call, if they've had just one episode where they're hypertensive, it's usually based on their height and their weight. So for every year of life, and depending on the body mass index of the child, we see what is normal for their height and weight. So if they come in and their blood pressure is high, we don't call it hypertension for one time. We call it elevated blood pressure reading. Now, if the blood pressure is high as they come into the office, we check it again as they're going home. If it's still high, then we say to our children, we need to see you again in a week just to see how your blood pressure is doing. We want you to drink a lot of fluids, do some exercise, go outside, take a walk every day, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, get into some healthy lifestyle, and then we'll see them back in a week. We need to do 3 visits to determine if they have hypertension. So if they come back in a week, the blood pressure is fine, then it's good. That was just a one-time elevated blood pressure reading. But if they come back the next week, the blood pressure is still high, and they come back a 3rd time and it's still high, then they have to see pediatric cardiology so that they can determine why their blood pressure is high. And then they can also do an EKG and chest x-ray. Now, if a child comes in for chest pain, for instance, and their blood pressure is high, we go ahead and do an EKG and a chest x-ray. If that is abnormal, they need to see cardiology sooner than later, because some children are hypertensive and it's real. Now, in pediatrics, most of the children that we see that have high blood pressure is related to a kidney disease, because that's what we call secondary hypertension. Adults, because of stress and paying bills and all the stress that they have just in living life, adults tend to get hypertensive with time because of stress. Children don't have stress. So if they're having a high blood pressure reading that is persistent, we need to check out their kidneys, because the kidneys is the main organ that controls hypertension, or the blood pressure in human beings in general. And that's why a lot of hypertensive medicine have a lot to do with the kidneys, especially for adults. So if a child comes in and their blood pressure is high, we send them to cardiology. The cardiologist will check their kidneys. They will check their what is called the renin level. They will check all kinds of things. They will do an echo and ultrasound of the heart and all that kind of stuff. So that is beyond the scope of what we're talking about here. But when you have a child who is hypertensive, please see your doctor. Make sure that it's not something that is persistent. That one-time high blood pressure could be due to stress for that day. And if it never comes back, fine. But if it's something that keeps coming back, the child has to get a thorough workup by a pediatric cardiologist to find out why that child has high blood pressure. And that will take care of it. Now, some children are born with abnormal kidneys, and those children are at risk for hypertension, depending on what it is. That's what congenital kidney disease will do. Some children might have hormonal abnormalities. Like if a child is hyperthyroid, for instance, the thyroid controls has a lot to do with the blood pressure also. Those children could be hypertensive. And there are other conditions, but that's why we call it secondary hypertension, because the hypertension is not based on stress, it's based on something abnormal going on in the other organs of the children's body. And that needs to be checked out. Sometimes tumors of the brain can cause hypertension. You know, that's why you need to see a good doctor so that they can determine what exactly is going on with children. Now, if a child has been diagnosed with hypertension, the underlying cause should be treated. And in the midst of treating the underlying cause, some children might need to be on high blood pressure medicine. And usually the cardiologist will be able to structure their treatment so that everything is taken care of, including the diet, the lifestyle, and everything else that needs to be taken care of. So have your blood pressure rechecked if you get an abnormal reading, and make sure that you get to see the pediatrician, who will send you to a cardiologist if necessary, so that you get the care that you need.
All right. If you've gotten to this point of this video, we just want to say a big thank you for keeping up with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share the links to young moms, parents to keep up with accurate pediatric information from your trusted pediatrician. Until next time, bye.
Bye.